Okay, so what we're going to do first, and like I explained, like EFT tapping, I'm going to tap a point and you'll see all the points that I'm tapping. The hardest one to probably see is this under the arm point when I tap on that, which the best way I can explain it is like if you're wearing a godforsaken bra, it's the point where the thing wraps around the side of your body, right? The point where the bra strap would wrap around the side of your body. That's the under the arm point that we're going to be on, but sometimes the camera makes it a little hard to see that point on me. Every other point you'll be able to see from like the areas around the eyes to under the nose, under the mouth, this collarbone point, which is more like that sore spot on your chest, not the actual bone, and then the under the arm. And we're going to start on this karate chop point on the side of your hand. People always ask, does it matter if I do left or right? It doesn't. And then with some points, like these eyebrow points, you have two of them. You can do both. You can do one. You can alternate. Like there's no wrong way to do this. But these are the 9 main points where our energy gets disrupted in our meridians. So there's a lot of principles with this that go hand in hand with Chinese medicine. And as we can unblock the blockages in our energy system and it flows freely, we simply feel better. And the dis-ease that we had, emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, settles, and we kind of get to move into a new reality. So that's what happens as we do this. So what we're going to do for this first round of EFT, which is we're just going to do one round. I'm going to get you guys to rate yourselves here. So I want you to picture like a current high conflict situation that you're involved in regarding your divorce, post-divorce, kids, whatever the thing is. It's going to be different for everybody, but something that feels high conflict for you right now. I want you to imagine where you feel it in your body, and I want you to imagine how intense that feeling is for you. And I want you to rate it from 0 to 10, with 10 being the most intense and 0 being, well, honestly, you should think of something else if you're at a 0, because something that has some activation to it. And then you can drop the number in the chat and also just kind of save it. So when we're done, I want you to share another, I want you to share again. And like if you started at an 8 and you ended at a 2, I want you to, when we're done, post, 8 to 2, so that we can see both the starting and the ending number in the same share. So cool. All right. So we've got 7s, 6s, 8s. All right, cool. And then I'm going to have Karen follow along with me here. And again, since the rest of you are muted, and you're going to say this out loud back to me. And like I said before, EFT favors specificity. So you can adjust this. If I say something and you're like, that's not quite right, but this word's better, or this is my situation and my truth in this, tailor it to what you genuinely feel. Okay. And we'll see what we can do to get that number to drop down a little bit as we work through this. All right. We'll get started. First, just start by taking a nice deep inhale through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Even though my body learned that conflict equals danger.
Even though my body learned that conflict equals danger.
And I feel it and you guys can fill in the blank where you feel it.
And I feel it in my shoulders.
I honor this protection.
I honor this protection.
And I'm open to a notch more safety in this moment.
And I'm open to a notch more safety in this moment.
Even though I've abandoned myself to keep the peace.
Even though I've abandoned myself to keep the peace.
Sometimes I fear my kids might be harmed with the chaos.
Sometimes I'm afraid the kids will be harmed with the chaos.
I'm willing to be the safe adult for me.
I'm willing to be the safe adult for me.
And for them now.
And for them now.
And even though bait and blame.
And even though bait and blame.
Pull me into long explanations.
Pull me into long explanations.
I can slow down.
I can slow down.
Breathe.
Breathe.
And choose brief.
And choose brief.
Factual.
Factual.
Boundary clear communication.
Boundary clear communication.
That protects my energy.
That protects my energy.
Now we're going to start moving through the other points starting at the top of the head. I notice the tension in my shoulders.
I notice the tension in my shoulders,
Clench in my jaw.
tension in my jaw.
I remember this is an old alarm.
I remember this is an old alarm.
It's not a verdict about now.
It is not a verdict about now.
My mind races to defend.
My mind races to defend.
Attack.
Attack
Or disappear.
or disappear.
Survival doing its job.
Survival doing its job.
And I can thank it without letting it drive.
And I can thank it without letting it drive.
Sometimes I feel the urge to fire off a long reply.
Sometimes I feel the urge to fire off a long reply,
Dig up proof.
to dig up proof,
To argue each and every point.
to argue each and every point.
And I acknowledge how costly that is.
And I acknowledge how costly that is
To my sleep, my focus, and my health.
to my sleep, my focus, and to my health.
Right here, I anchor in the present.
Right here, I anchor in the present.
Feet on the floor.
Feet on the floor.
Breath a little longer on the exhale.
Breath a little bit longer on the exhale.
Reminding my body it's not in the past.
Reminding my body it is not in the past.
Thank you, body, for trying to keep me safe.
Thank you, body, for trying to keep me safe.
I won't shame survival,
I will not shame survival,
but I will add leadership.
but I will add leadership.
And as I tap, my amygdala gets the memo.
And as I tap, my amygdala gets the memo.
It's okay to lower the volume on danger.
It's okay to lower the volume on danger
So my wise brain can come online.
so my wise brain can come online.
I don't have to answer urgently to feel safe.
I don't have to answer urgently to feel safe.
Safety can come from how I hold myself before I choose any words.
Safety can come from how I hold myself before I choose any words.
And I am safe enough to pause.
And I am safe enough to pause.
I am not responsible for my ex's nervous system.
I'm not responsible for my ex's nervous system.
I am responsible for mine.
I am responsible for my own.
Their story isn't about me, isn't my identity. Their story about me isn't my identity.
Their story about me is not my identity.
So I stop negotiating with a narrative that doesn't know me.
So I stop negotiating with a narrative that does not know me.
Releasing the need to justify and argue.
Releasing the need to justify and argue.
Releasing the need to defend or over-explain.
Releasing the need to defend or over-explain.
Setting healthy boundaries
Setting healthy boundaries
for me and for my kids.
for me and for my kids.
Reduces all of the fire and smoke.
reduces all of the fire and smoke,
and gives everyone air.
and gives everyone
I hold inner custody of my attention.
air. I hold inner custody of my attention,
And I won't spend it on bait.
and I won't spend it on bait.
I invest it in recovery, work, and love.
I invested in recovery work and love.
And I release the myth that suffering proves I'm a good parent.
And I release the myth that suffering proves I'm a good parent.
Regulation and presence are the proof my children feel.
Regulation and presence are the proof my children feel.
I can be calm and still be firm.
I can be calm and still be firm.
I'm allowed to be so incredibly boring in conflict.
I am allowed to be incredibly boring in conflict
And also be incredibly effective.
and also be incredibly effective.
My body is memorizing new cues,
My body is memorizing new cues,
like deeper breathing
like deeper breathing
or a hand on my heart
or a hand on my heart.
that can remind me I am safe and steady.
It can remind me I'm safe and steady.
When it's time to pick up or drop off the kids or some other high conflict situation,
When it's time to pick up, drop off the kids or another interaction,
I intentionally soften my shoulders.
I intentionally soften my shoulders,
I keep my eyes kind and neutral.
keep my eyes kind and neutral.
I say what's needed.
And say what's needed.
And I find ways to reconnect with myself or my kids afterwards.
And I find ways to reconnect with myself or my kids afterwards.
Old rules begin to dissolve.
Old rules begin to absolve.
And today I practice self-loyal action,
And today I practice self-loyal action,
responding instead of reacting.
responding instead of reacting.
And then I return to living,
And then I return to living
safe and steady.
safe and steady.
Beautiful. All right, everybody take another nice deep inhale through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. Thank you for mirroring me, Karen. Now I want you to go back and I want you to revisit what I asked you when we first started, which was basically on a scale of 0 to 10. How activated do you feel when you picture that same high conflict situation now? And if you're able to, yeah, perfect. That's just how I need it. Even the first number and the second number, that's really helpful. From a 7 down to a 4, awesome. 6 down to a 1, huge. Yeah. Let's see, 6 to a 8 to a 5, 6 to a 3, 7 to a 5, 4 to a 1. Awesome, awesome work, ladies.